What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades, and today I'm excited to be talking about a blade from a usage group that I really vibe with, and that is your compact EDCable fixed blades. And spoiler alert, this is a fantastic design. I'm going to highly recommend it. I'm going to make sweet, passionate, hot, and sticky love to this knife throughout the entire review. So get you some tissues. If you don't feel safe, wear a condom. It's okay. I think by the time we get to the end of this, we're all going to be very, very satisfied in what we see in this knife. So we've got the Civivi Knives Gander fixed blade here. This is a MattGentry of Gentry Custom Knives design. I think it is based on his Drifter model. So be sure to go over there to Gentry Custom Knives and check him out. I did get this from Justin at White Mountain Knives. Let's go ahead and take care of the thank you to Justin. Of course, no business affiliation between us. I just appreciate a business that's easy and consistent to do business with, and that's been White Mountain Knives for Baz on Blades. So thank you, Justin, for that. This is sort of a smaller, compact, EDCable fixed blade knife is very interesting to Baz on Blades because I often carry a firearm on my strong side. Also on my strong side front pocket, I carry a folding knife, whatever I'm carrying that day. But when I carry a firearm, I also carry a small fixed blade inside the waistband on my weak side. And the reason is this. If somebody tries to snatch my pistol out of the holster, I will instantly have to, with my strong side hand, retain that pistol. That is a life or death situation. It must be retained at all costs. That means a struggle. It's probably going to go to the ground. It's going to be bad. There is no way you could ever even dream you could reach across your body, pull out a folder from the opposite side, and manipulate it while in the middle of a struggle. You cannot do that. This is not a John Wick movie, okay? What you must do is carry a small fixed blade on your weak side, so while you are retaining your pistol with your strong side hand, you can pull this out and use it instantly as a get the fuck off me tool until we can come to a better understanding of who that gun actually belongs to. That's why I love these knives. I've got multiple examples of this type of usage out here on the table. We're going to take a look at every one of them. But before we do that, I want to do a size comparison with an industry standard that'll give you an idea of the size of this knife. And of course, it's a folder. It is a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. The Paramilitary 2 and this knife, for all intents and purposes, are the same damn size. Even though the Paramilitary 2, being a super inefficient design, is still longer in the handle for much less cutting surface and about the same overall blade length. It's a crazy design to have done so well and be such a historical design. So spec-wise, in this Civivi Knives Gander fixed blade, blade length, you're looking at 3.6 inches. And that's about, 93 millimeters. Blade width is 1.5 inches or about 3.5 centimeters. Blade stock thickness, 118 thousandths of an inch or 3 millimeters. Your handle length is 4.25 inch or 10.5 centimeters. Your width at the widest part is 1.125 inch or 28 millimeters. I never noticed carrying this because it's actually fairly subtle, but this is a tapered handle. It is a linear taper that I can see a little bit from this view. At the butt end, we're looking at 585 thousandths of an inch thickness, tapering to 522 thousandths at the tang end. And that is 14.86 millimeters and 13.26 millimeters. That's about 1.5 millimeters of taper across that. And like I say, it feels and looks to me like it's linear. I don't see a point where we're getting all of a sudden like a distill taper. It looks to be pretty linear, and it's subtle in the hand. I did notice that the feel was a little, I could feel the sort of, I don't know, it just a lot of retention off of the butt end for not having any more of a bird's beak, and I think that's in that taper. Overall length of this knife is 7 7/8 of an inch, or 20 centimeters. Behind the edge thickness, 15 thousandths of an inch, or 0.38 millimeters. Your weight, 4.16 ounces without the sheath, 7.34 ounces with the sheath. And in grams, that is 118 grams, 208 grams respective. Let's bring that sheath out here and take a look at it. Like every sheath that I have seen come from Civivi Knives, they are absolutely the best on the market. I've had 4 Civivi fixed blade knives go through my hands, 4 different models in the last year, year and a half, and every piece of Kydex has been truly custom quality. They are crisply molded. The retention is crisp and firm. The fit, there's your retention. The fit is absolutely nothing. There is no movement. There is no movement, but there is offset on the blade, so you don't get the drag, okay? There's plenty of offset on the blade, but once that snaps in, there is zero movement on this. Beautiful finishing around the edge. You got a wonderful push-off ramp here. It's wide open design where this finger choil is, so you're already, as soon as you push off of that, your thumb falls right on the thumb ramp here, right on the jimping, perfect positioning out of the sheath. It's a fantastically designed sheath. Now, it does seem a little heavy when you look at the numbers at 7.34 ounces with the sheath, or 208 grams. The sheath is heavy because of the tech lock. Now, I'm going to be carrying this IWB weak side, so I'm going to pull this tech lock off, and I'm just going to put a loop, pull the dot sort of loop on it, or cord loop, whatever works out for the ride height that I want inside the waistband. Taking that tech lock off of this will cut the weight of that sheath in half. I wouldn't be surprised if the tech lock weighs more than the sheath itself, or if they're just damn near equal. But it is a fantastically done sheath, as all of the Civivi Kydex that I have seen has been. Let's talk about materials. In your blade steel, you're looking at Sandvik's 14C28N stainless steel. That is a class leader for mid-grade steels. Right now, it is one of my 2 favorites. That and Nitro V, I think, are really strong in that mid-range. Sometimes you'll get 154 cm in there for a very strong sort of older school entry to that mid-range. But 14C28N was developed as a cutlery steel. It's got good edge retention, very good toughness, and very good stain resistance or corrosion resistance. It is a well-rounded, tough steel. I think Civivi lists their HRC range as 57 to 59, or was it 57 to 60? I don't remember, guys, and I apologize for that. It is 57 to 59. I do have that on the cheat sheet. I'd like to see it 58 to 60, but, you know, whatever. It's a knife for all intents and purposes for me. I hope I never have to use. In your handle materials, we've got this black canvas micarta. It's a very good feeling micarta. It is fairly raised on the surface. It is not as raised as the black micarta I've gotten from the last couple of Riate produced knives, the Chavez Redemption and the Riate PL7 Persian. They used a black micarta that had a very raised sort of cloth feeling surface. This is not quite as raised, but it is not like super hard and super slick like a cheap micarta. To me, it feels like sort of a hairy G10 is what it feels like. It's attractive on this. Of course, I could oil it down where it would be all blackety black, but I kind of like the dynamics of the blacky gray layer look against the black of the blade. Your small parts are black finished stainless. They are T8. So there you go on that. What we got here, we got some markings on the blade. Markings on the blade. Civivi on the front. Not a lot of billboarding. Not a lot of billboarding. Did I talk about that thumb ramp and the jimping? Let's talk about that going into fit and finish on this knife, as we'll talk about the way that this is cut. It's fantastic. The thumb ramp is perfectly located in relationship to the finger choil. I'm very big on this in design of a knife. I want to get my thumb out ahead of this finger that is in the finger choil. If my thumb is back, my grip has to open up. If I'm compressing my thumb back into my grip has to open. That is just the way your hand works. So I want to get this out. I want it to fall naturally for a natural grip because that's where your strength is. I want that thumb and that thumb ramp and that jimping to be forward of the pivot point, which is the finger choil. That gives me control out towards the tip of the blade. It gives me much finer control here at the termination of the blade. It is just a very, very, very well designed trio there in that. The thumb ramp, the jimping, the location of the finger choil. Of course, this is a, call it a drop point, call it a clip point. It's a very sort of high pointed, wide open, long clip. I would call this a very modern clip with a high tip here. You might call it just a straight back drop point. Either way, I'm good with that. Flat grind. Grinds are perfect. Yeah, the fit and finish on this is just fantastic. Your handle fit and finish. Everything is just... I understand this is a very simple thing. Okay, we're talking about a flat slab of steel, 2 flat slabs of micarta. But you would be surprised at how hard it is sometimes to get that supposedly flat material to be absolutely flat and fitted together. That is perfect fitting. Now this is double chamfered fitting here. The inside edge of the handle scales is chamfered and the outside edge of the spine of the blade is chamfered as well. So that's why you're seeing that boxing there. Everything is just super cleanly done. Nice sharp tooling, decent feed speeds, no chatter, no tooling marks, everything is even and universal, and they just do such a good job. And again, we're getting up close to $100. $70 to $73 with a discount. That's getting up there close. I think it should be perfect for what it is. The blade finish is sort of interesting to me as it is described as a black stone wash by Civivi. And it looks like to me it is I cannot tell if it is a coarsely stone-washed blade finish with a, whatever this coating is, it's thin feeling coating. It doesn't feel like a damn Teflon or something like that. It's thin surface bonded coating. But it is not stone washed all the way through to reveal the edges. So I honestly, I can't tell if that's a coarsely stone washed blade and then that coating is just very thin applied over that and it reveals the abrasive sort of texture underneath it, or if this is actually just lightly stonewashed afterwards, but I don't think it is, because there's absolutely no revealing of the steel under that, even on the sharp, crisp edges of the grinds. Yeah, there's no revealing the steel. So I think that this is just a coarse stonewash and then a very thin surface bonded finish over it. It's attractive though. Like I say, I love the dynamics of the black with the sort of black denim look of this canvas micarta and the black hardware on it. It's a good looking knife for sure. And the fit and finish is absolutely perfect across the board. The design, I've sort of mixed the categories here together, but as far as ergos, utility, usage, and the design, for what I want to carry this knife for, it may be the favorite out of my collection so far. And let's take a look at some examples from that. Let's pull out another Civivi first of all, and I think this has got a little bit different usage for me. That's the Storm Ridge, which is approximately the same size of knife. It's a little bit longer blade. It's a narrower profile. It is Coke bottle waisted. It's a fantastic knife, of course. Fantastic Kydex for that one as well. Civivi's Kydex is just badass. The main difference in these knives in my hand is this. You've got a wider design. You got a deep finger choil here. The blade gets down below that finger choil. This knife, the Gander, in my hand, it fits super deep in my hand. I mean, it's way down in my, it's all up in my hand, is what I'm trying to say. It is all up in my hand like porn. Maybe. It's like, not really like porn, but it's like all up in my hand. If you have your favorite pistola that you carry, think about the one that's got the real deep beaver tail and the real deep undercut at the trigger guard, and it sits so deep in your hand. You're right up close to the bore axis when you shoot it. You don't get a lot of muzzle lift with it. That's how this feels. It's just deep into my hand. I've got such good retention on it. This knife, it doesn't sit down deep in my hand. It's a totally different design. One of the things that's changed is the thumb ramp and the jimping are closer back to this choil. So you can see, to use that feature, I've got to open up my grip. I don't like that as much. So this knife I would use more putting my thumb in front of the guard position because there's a length of jimping there. This knife, it just sits down in my hand. My thumb falls naturally onto the jimping. It's a more natural design for my hand size and my usage preference here. Notice I am not reviewing this as a field dressing knife. I've got dedicated field dressing knives that I'm going to use that are just better designs to me, for me. This, from the get-go, was going to be a backup piece, and for that, it's just a great design. Let's look at another piece right here. I'm meandering real bad. This is the smallest holdout that I've got. This is a Columbia River Knife and Tool produced Alan Foltz Minimalist. This is the Katana blade. It's the longest blade minimalist that there is. And you see it puts it in that 3.5, 3.6 inch of blade length as the same as this knife, but in a much more ultra deep carry sort of handle that, even though it's not a full grip, it feels super secure in your hand. This knife is a very inexpensive. It's not in a high-end blade steel. Don't use it as an EDC. It is strictly a hideout type of knife. It is, if you were ever in a situation and you had this, I think it would serve you very well. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, one of my favorites here, and that is the Tops Knives Lioness. This is the Rockies edition, also in micarta. Again, we're in a about the same size, overall size. The Lioness is a little more compact, but these two knives right here have something in common, and it's how deep they sit down in my hand, like all the way down in there, like the bomb chicka wah wah, you know, that deep up in my hand. You've got this wide open choil area here and a compact handle, and that knife sits. See how deep down that blade is, the blade edge to where my knuckle is here. Look at this. Also super deep. The lioness is a little bit deeper. Okay, it's got a little bit thinner of a handle profile there. You get way down in this knife right there. That's dirty the way I'm holding that knife. Dirtiness, dirtiness, dirtiness. Oh, we got an oldie but a goodie. Another Columbia River that I like. And this is the Obaki. It's a Lucas Burnley design, and it's more of like a shanky sort of knife, a stabby sort of thing there. It's got a cord wrapped handle. I prefer a finger choil on a knife like this for mitigation of sliding up on the blade if you impact something that is harder than you expect. Human body's got a lot of bones in it. If you have to stick somebody to get them off of you, chances are you might hit a bone. You don't want to slide up on the blade. A good thing about this is a true cord wrap handle that is epoxy resin impregnated, so it's hard, but it's got the surface feel of the wrap. And look at that. You're not going to slide up off of this right here. That is a great, great little option right there. These like this and this minimalist from Columbia River, they're like $30 or $40, something like that, stupid like that. And then we've got the Kaiser Knives produced Maverick Customs Harpoon here. It's in the same sort of design. You know what? These knives are let's take a look at this. They're very similar, but you can tell they were designed by two different people with two different mindsets as far as how far they want to go with something. A very interesting comparison there. Those two might deserve a video of their own. But we're going to go back to the Civivi Gander here, designed by MattGentry at Gentry Custom Knives. Thank you, Matt. This knife is going to come highly, highly, highly recommended by Baz on Blades. Like I say, it sits so deep up in my hands that it's a dirty, nasty feeling. We're getting all up in there. And look at that blade. Look at that. I am right up on that edge. My thumb is forward. I've got so much control in this. Look how long that section of straight edge is. That is so long on this length of blade. We've got a beautiful, beautiful bunch of belly all the way up to the tip. If you want to do any cuts where you need to rotate the edge rather than pushing the edge, you've got all the belly. It's basically... Look at this. It's 50-50. It's 50-50 with such a beautiful transition that it's not even like it's saying, hey, I'm 50-50. You don't really even notice. It's just overall, MattGentry has done such a good design on this knife. I'm not kidding here. Right now, this is my fixed blade of the year for 2025. It's hands down my fixed blade of the year for 2025. It's a wonderful, wonderful design. It has knocked out the Storm Ridge. The Storm Ridge, I reviewed it so well. I must have helped sell a bunch of those things because I gushed over it. But this knife right here, in my hands, for the intended purpose, again, I'm not reviewing this as a field dressing knife, nor am I using it or reviewing it as a field craft design. I am reviewing this as a backup piece, a secondary piece, a hideaway piece, a get off of me piece. Okay? This knife would excel in that usage. It is not so big that it can't be carried, but it is not so small and compact that it's uncomfortable to use. You can get a full-size grip on it. Full-size grip. Large hand volume, chunky medium-length fingers. This is my grip. There is plenty enough handle there You've got plenty enough detailing in the handle between that super deep choil and sort of this wasting here flaring back out at the butt end, including the taper towards thickness at the butt end of the scales. It feels very secure, cutting or moving in any direction. I believe to remove this knife from my hands in any type of situation, you would have to destroy my hand to remove this knife from my hand. That is how secure it feels. Damn. I'd pay good money for this knife in S35 with carbon fiber scales with red liners, same blade finish, same exact sheath. Just give me the same damn sheath. I'd pay money for that. A little more premium version. Yeah, it's a fantastic design. It's deserving of more than just the 3 versions that they've got out there. And I thought that it was deserving of more than just reviewing it as a field dressing knife, because believe it or not, the majority of the population does not hunt. Now, granted, the majority of the population does also not carry a firearm and is not going to carry a hideout knife, a backup knife like Baz on Blades would. But in my instance, that's the way I'm reviewing this knife, and I'm telling you right now, for the money, you're not going to do any better of a design than this. It's just seems like the perfect balance. I keep saying this about a lot of knives. I said the perfect balance about this knife, but I had a different intended usage for this. This knife was bought. I intended to put it on my tack vest, on my plate carrier. It's nice and compact and lightweight, but it gives you enough blade length for usage. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's not super heavy when you got a bunch of damn loaded magazines and whatnot, and plates. Let's not forget plates in your plate carrier. You know, I don't want a plate carrier that weighs 100 pounds. I'm a little old guy. I'd have to get me a couple of women to carry that around for me and be a little subservient to Baz on Blades. That's what women are for. I think that's what they're for. I can't. It's a hard memory to bring to dredge up there. So I'm going to recommend the Civivi Knives Gander, this MattGentry design from Gentry Custom Knives. Yeah. I'm going to recommend this knife. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of my videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.